Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from gorgeous San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I hope you guys are excited for another wonderful day today. One of the things that my wife Angela and I, parents to 7 children, regularly focus on are ways that we can connect better with our children. Why, you might ask? Well, we currently have 5 teenagers in the house. We have 5 teenagers, 7 kids total, 5 teenagers in the house. And if you guys know my energy and vibe and intensity, or Angela's, what you will discover very quickly is that we have kids that are just like us, and it's a little bit scary from time to time. So one of the things that we do is we regularly research what gurus suggest could be a difference maker in building relationships with our kids, because that's important to us, to have great relationships with our kids. One of the things they taught us years ago was you don't try to get your kids into stuff that you're into. Get them in, find out what they're into and get into their stuff. So for years I did my best to get my kids interested in real estate, and guess what? My kids didn't want to have anything to do with real estate. Now 2 of them are in it though, but they didn't back then. They didn't want anything to do with it, and it wasn't a point of connection for us. So we discovered what they were into, and we got into that, and that allowed us to build relationship around the conversations that came from that. One of the things I'm not super proud to tell you they like watching that made us laugh was a TV show called The Office. Many seasons. It's out on Netflix, The Office with Steve Carell. One of the ongoing jokes of this ridiculously insane manager of The Office is someone would say something appropriate and he would go, "That's what she said," which was highly inappropriate for a work environment like that, and yet it was always very funny. So those of you that have watched The Office understand the "that's what she said" quote. Well, today I bring you "that's what he said." That's what he said. Where does this come from, Steve? Where are you coming? What angle are you coming from this morning? Well, one of the things that's kept Angela and I together for 24 years and continues to unify our family and continues to be a foundation for the way that we practice in our real estate practice and in the coaching company is we have one point of agreement. We all have different ideas about relationship and philosophies about business and ways that we approach service, and yet there's only one thing that Angela and I always agree on, and that is, what did he say? What does his word say about it? What does the word say about it? Those of you that know I have a favorite book. It's the Bible. I enjoy it incredibly. It's basically a giant love note to me and to you, and we settle on, if we are ever in a disagreement, the way that we work out the disagreement is we find out that's what he said. So let me give you an example. For instance, have you ever had anything really terrible happen to you that was outside of your control? Have you ever had anything horrible that just showed up on your front door? Bad news. Has bad news ever just nailed you right between the eyes? Well, the immediate response for almost every human being on earth is to begin to look at it through the lenses of the negativity and the inconvenience and the expense and the stress that's going to be involved in dealing with that. So we go to, what did he say? Or that's what he said. Well, there's this verse in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, that says this: all things work together for good for them who love God and who are called according to his purpose. That's what he said. You see, so when we have something that occurs that we do not like, let me just say this in an educated fashion: when the feces hits the oscillating device. That's funny, right? When the feces hits the oscillating device, our immediate reaction is typically drawn towards the negative, so we immediately go to, what did he say about it? Well, he said that all things work together for good, which means this is going to work together for our good. Somehow, this difficulty, this challenge, this struggle, this circumstance, this currently negative thing is going to turn around and work out for our good. Therefore, since we know it's going to work out for our good in the end, Why don't we just start behaving and talking like it right now? Let me give you an example. There was an old gentleman in church that I used to go to years and years ago who had a heart attack. He was starting to recover. He was a big Star Wars fan, and Star Wars was coming out. One of the new Star Wars movies was coming out. And I thought, how cool would it be if I took this guy, got him out of his house, and we went to go watch Star Wars at the midnight movie. Well, Angela had been out with the kids at the parents' house. I went to go pick him up. We're pulling up at the theater, and I get a call from Angela. And I thought, well, this is really weird. Angela's calling. Let me check in on it. And she said, Steve, oh my gosh, I just walked in the front door, and our house is flooded. There's like 2 inches of water everywhere. The ceiling has fallen down above the laundry room where the kids' bathroom is. I don't know what happened, but the house is flooded. What are we going to do? And I immediately thought, that's what he said. What did he say about it? And I said, well, Angela, you remember Romans 8:28, right? All things work together for good. Let me just encourage you that this is going to be a little bit intense right now, but in the end, it's going to work out for good. Our house is going to be better. You're probably going to get to paint the laundry room and fix all the things you've been wanting to do in there lately, and it'll be on the insurance company after we have our deductible. So the end of this matter is going to be good. We're going to be all right. And the end of the matter was exactly that. We got all new stuff up in there. She got to paint the room the way that she wanted to. We got all kinds of stuff fixed. It was just, it worked out for our good in the end. Most recently, people worry about me doing videos when I drive in the car. This is the easiest part of my life, y'all. Driving with 7 kids to go to the grocery store is hard. Driving with a fiery Latina who's angry with you while you're driving is hard. Having a conversation with another relator. See, now I didn't say realtor. I'm talking about there's a lot of relators out there who, woo-hoo. Dealing with a relator can be hard when you're driving. Speaking to a camera, easiest part of my life. Easiest part of my life, no stress whatsoever. And people worry about me getting into a wreck. Well, I have been in 2 wrecks. It's been other people hitting me. And I've done live videos right after both of those wrecks. And I've said, because I know that's what he said, that all things are going to work together for good. You guys watch. This is going to work out for my good. I'm going to end up selling a car to the guy that fixes a car. I'm going to end up selling a house to the guy who fixes a car. I'm going to end up selling a house to the enterprise rental people. I'm going to end up selling a house to the people who do my bumpers and paint work. I am going to pick up at least 2 new pieces of business because my network just expanded because I got into a car wreck. Because you see, all things work together for good because that's what he said. That's not what I thought. That's not what I imagined. That's not what anybody else said. That's what he said. So I encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you be like King David that kicked Goliath's butt? He said something powerful in Psalm 119, verse 11. He said, thy word have I hid in my heart that I might not sin against thee. That means he had an active part in learning what the word said so that he could utilize that and bring it to the surface when he needed to. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going through a hard time? Ask yourself about it. What does he say about it? Because once you find out that's what he said, you can move forward in faith, knowing that all things are going to work together for your good. Have a great day, guys.